Hello, I'm Miss DS Woman, and in my last video I took a tour with you all of my top 5 favorite Super Smash Bros. Stages. If you have not seen that video, I'm going to link it in the top right corner right now so you can go watch that if you haven't already. Basically, I really enjoyed doing that video, so I knew right away that the next video that I wanted to do was taking a tour of my top 5 least favorite Super Smash Bros. Stages. But here's the problem. I honestly don't even have 5 stages that I dislike to the point of putting them in this video. I honestly do not. I feel like, at first I was like, oh yeah, there are so many stages that I can talk about, but there really aren't. Like, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, in my opinion, has a pretty good range of stages. However, it is not a perfect range, so I have come up with 3 stages that I am not a fan of and that we are going to take a tour on in this video. Also, in the last video, I didn't really give any references to where the items on the stages were from, and somebody left a really awesome comment telling me where those items are, so I recommend you read that for further details. And in this video, I'm going to try my best to say what the items on the stages actually are and where they come from. And of course, I'm going to give my disclaimer that I am not saying that I have the right opinions on these stages or that you have to agree with my opinions. This is purely just an opinion-based video of me having some thoughts and sharing them with you all. But that's enough yapping out of me, and let's get into the tours. So the first stage that I have on this list is Hanenbow. And Hanenbow is actually pretty unique in the fact that it's from Electroplankton, which is one of the universes presented in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. So that would mean that the stage is present in Super Smash Bros. Brawl and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Electroplankton is also apparently a musical-themed Nintendo DS game. I haven't played it, so I'm not entirely sure what my opinion on it is just yet. But I do want to talk about the stage and why it's unfortunately not my favorite. So the layout of the stage is pretty simple. There's 3 branches, and from 2 of these branches come sets of leaves, and there are 6 leaves on one branch and 4 leaves on another branch, and you can stand on all the leaves. And there's also a little leaf in the corner that you can also stand on, but I haven't reached there yet, so I'll get to that. And I was really confused when I was playing this stage because there are 3 branches, as you can see on the stage, but I can only stand on 2 of them. I tried to stand on the one in the very left, and I literally died because I was not expecting to just fall through that branch. But I think it is used for something particular in the stage, but I wasn't able to see that for myself. And as you might also be able to see, there are lots of little flying fish-like creatures, and I believe that they are the Hanenbows. And what these Hanenbows do is bounce off of all of the branches and then land in the little water, which I will also get to later. Once the Hanenbows bounce off of the leaves, they change colors, and then they also produce musical sounds, which I didn't know, so I thought that was pretty interesting. And I will say that I'm going to talk about what I like about these stages before I talk about why I dislike them, just because I don't want to be too negative. But what I like in Hanenbow is the colors, the little bubbles that rise, if you see them in the background. I think it's interesting that it's 2D. You know, the 2D stages in Smash are always something interesting to talk about. And I do like the look of the water. However, fun fact about this water, you don't actually swim in it. If you fall through the stage, you just fall through the stage. And one can argue that that would be pretty obvious, but for me, I did not see it. Like, that's a kind of a gripe I have with the stage, is that I'm not sure where I can stand because it's a 2D stage and I'm already unable to swim and unable to stand on that branch on the left side. However, there is a leaf in the left corner that I am able to stand on. So, yeah, that's the whole debacle surrounding that. And I do really like the idea of the Hanenbows producing music when they touch the leaves, but if in my opinion, it gets old after a while. It just does. And also, a running theme that you absolutely will see in this video is small platforms. I do not like Super Smash Bros. Stages that are filled with small platforms. I would literally rather it just be one big platform like Big Battlefield, because when you have such small platforms, where are you supposed to fight? Like where? Like you just hit the person once and then they have to fight for their life again. Does that make sense? I hope I'm making sense here. Now, Hanenbow is like the least of the offenders in here, and the stages I would say are pretty decent for you to stand on, but they're still really small in my personal opinion. But that is really all I have to say about Hanenbow. I wouldn't necessarily call it bad, but it's just not my favorite. However, these next two stages, oh, do I have problems with these next two stages. Speaking of those stages, let's move on to the next one. The next stage that I have on this list is 75M from the original Donkey Kong arcade game. Is anyone surprised? Raise your hand if you're surprised. But anyway, 75M, as I just mentioned, is a level from the original arcade version of Donkey Kong, and it takes place in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Super Smash Bros. 4, which is the Wii U and the 3DS, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, there are a lot of platforms on the stage, which is one of my main problems with it, but we can talk about that later. I am going to be taking you all through the stage from the left side of it to the right side of it. So on the left side, we have these tiny platforms all in a row. So there are like 3 platforms and there are 2 blue ladders in between the platforms. And also I'm assuming the platforms are like of a metallic material, even though it's 8-bit. And the platforms are kind of like a fuchsia-ish, and the ladders are a light blue. And as you walk up these ladders, there is an umbrella on the very top of the 3rd platform, which gives you a bonus. I'm not sure what exactly it gives you a bonus for, but it gives you a bonus. To the right side of these 3 platforms are 2 elevator-like platforms that I want to talk about. Like, they have these yellowish beginnings and endings, and then you see some red platforms move upwards and downwards within them that I believe the player can stand on. Matter of fact, let me just watch over my footage and see if the player can stand on them. Yep, it is possible for the player to stand on these platforms, but they move pretty quick, so I would not recommend staying on them. And in between these platforms are another 2 red platforms with 2 blue ladders in beside them, and there is a little tank in between them, which actually looks really cute. However, on this ladder is where I saw the very first Trouble Bug. And if you're wondering what in the heck a Trouble Bug is, it is these little fiery beings that cross these ladders, and they cause fire damage to any player who happens to come in contact with them. And that's a running theme that you'll see on the stage. Little things just moving here and there that can cause damage. And I'll elaborate more on that later when I elaborate on all the other things that I said I hated about this stage. But anyway, moving on further to the right side, we see more of the reddish, more fuchsia platforms that kind of move in like a little staircase. And then from that, it's like very interesting because it's a diagonal staircase. Like, they move in a Z pattern. I'll try to circle it the best I can in editing for you to know what I'm talking about, but they move in a Z pattern, and there are various ladders in between these platforms. And also, quick note, on the top of the staircase pattern, there is a purse which also gives you a bonus, so that's nice. And last but not least, we have the very top platform first of all, we have a blue ladder, 3 blue ladders on this platform. One of them connects to a very long platform, and then 2 of them just connect to a smaller platform. And we have the sprites of the infamous Donkey Kong back from the arcade game, which I really like that is present. I think that's a really cool detail. Speaking about more of what I like the stage, I like the fact that Donkey Kong is being referenced at all. I mean, it's literally, in my opinion, like the foundation of Mario and Donkey Kong's existence. So the fact that it's getting recognition in Super Smash Bros. Is again amazing. However, now I will talk about all the things that I do not like about this stage. The first thing that I want to talk about is whenever the sprite of Donkey Kong beats his chest, a various number of jacks will show up on this very top platform, which is the longest platform of the entire stage, and they will cause a considerable amount of damage to the player if they happen to hit these jacks. And if you're wondering what the heck the jacks are, they're like these spring-like platforms that happen on the very top of the stage, and you are watching them happen and move right this second. Hello, this is me in editing once again, and I'm realizing that what I just said wasn't very inclusive to people who are visually impaired. So if you are one of those people, sorry about that, but what I'm saying is there are jacks bouncing up and down on the top platform right this second. Alright, you can get back to watching and or listening. And my problem with this is, when you already have a stage with so many small platforms, and I went in my last stage about how I do not like small platforms in Super Smash Bros. When you already have a stage with so many small platforms, and then you add on so many things to avoid, I'm saying so many, like it's not just 2, but when you have things to avoid like the trouble bugs and the jacks, they cause a considerable amount of damage and get in your way. I kid you not, in this training session alone to record the footage for this tour, me and the computer player on the stage with me, the computer player and I, just had to correct myself there before somebody else did, the both of us died several times while recording this footage. So in conclusion, I love the concept and the premise of 75M, but I just wish at the end of the day that it was structured very differently. With that being said, it is time to get on to the last stage on this tour. And I forgot to say in the beginning that this is in no particular order, so anyway, let's get to the last stage. So, the last stage that I have on this list is the Great Cave Offensive from the Kirby series. Again, raise your hand if you're surprised. I feel like this stage has been talked about time and time again, but just hear me out. I just want to say what I think about it, because there are some things that I really like about this stage. So, with that being said, let's take the tour because there's a lot to get into with this one. So I'm going to take you, or at least try to take you, from the very top to the very bottom of this stage. And the very top of the stage is giving very much forest, like it's giving a tree-like vibe. Like, I keep saying like, but you know what I mean. There are flowers, there are trees, there are grass, and there's also this cool little lava section. And there's also lava all throughout the stage, which I will get into more detail about later. Then, on the very right side of the stage, there's this really pretty crystalline section. Like, it feels like you're in a cave and you see these beautiful crystals everywhere. And also, I think the lighting is different in this section than it is from the tree section, because you have a lot of sunlight in the tree section and you don't have much sunlight here. I know I'm kind of like buzzing through this quickly, but that is because I want to talk about my overall thoughts. I'm really eager to do that, so just bear with me. In the very middle of the stage, it's not really a lot. It has this castle-like structure and this tiny entrance with these two platforms in the middle, and also there is a spike ball above the two platforms that does cause damage to the player if they touch it, so I want to clarify that right now. And last but not least, on the bottom left of the stage is this castle-like structure. It has really nice colors and a really pretty pattern on the very bottom, and it's more of a green and a yellow theme along with the castle-like structure. Like, you know the Fountain of Dreams, the Kirby stage that's also in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? It kind of reminds me of that. Now, occasionally, a minecart will appear, and it can either carry the player across the stage, or it can cause damage to the player. There are also a couple of cannons, one in the castle section and one in the center, that can either, again, shoot the player somewhere where they need to go, or shoot them outside of the stage, causing them to lose a stock. Now, to talk about what I really like on this stage, I will say that this stage is absolutely beautiful. And personally, I'm not the biggest Kirby fan. However, I do really like the series, and I can appreciate, people who love the Great Cave Offensive. I don't know how it is as a level in the Kirby game where it originates from, but some people may really like and appreciate the fact that it's in there, and honestly, by looking at it, it looks super interesting. But I always talk about how underrated the graphics are in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and this is a core example. Even the lava looks beautiful. Even though I can't stand the lava, it looks beautiful, and I love how all the different themes come together. I do think that it is very aesthetically pleasing. However, a lot of people have called this stage unplayable, and I can't help but to agree. I will say that it was initially designed for a player smash according to the wiki, and I don't know about you all, I may be completely wrong, but how many times does 8-player smash actually happen? Like in the competitive scene, or even just with you and your friends, let's be real. And also, the lava can very easily get in the way if, I think you spawn like in the middle of the stage. So it can easily get in the way if you're just trying to fight someone and they knock you, and all of a sudden you get like 50% more damage because you hit the lava. And also, if you are over 100% with damage and you hit the lava, you lose a stock instantly. Which again, I may be reaching here, but it doesn't even feel right for the essence of Smash. It really doesn't. Like, the rules all of this time have revolved around the player falling outside of the blast zones. So when you fall into lava and die, it's just like really? Like, you couldn't just make a stage where people fall off and die? From what I've heard, that's the general consensus of this stage, and I honestly have to agree with it. And I could be completely wrong. If you think that it's an awesome stage and you think that it's overhated, I can totally see where you're coming from that perspective. But I personally can see why this is not a lot of people's favorite. With that being said, those are the only real stages that I had a hard time playing on. And even though I might not enjoy playing on them, I can respect the games where they come from, and I think that they all look really beautiful. But anyway, that's all I had to say about that. I want to thank you so much for watching if you made it to the end and went through all my complaining, and have a great rest of your day.